iconic streets of Circuit de la Sarthe, better known as Le Mans, for JP's annual charity race for bladder cancer. Now, this is the first time he's done this, and it is in memory of his stepdad, and there will be some very fast, very dedicated drivers to the cars. We're still late into practice now, and late at night it is indeed. It's pretty dark, the cars are going fast, and after practice has been done, we'll go straight into the race. I wanted to take this time to go through the cars in this race so we can get to know them, but with the night it may be a bit dark, but we shall see what we can do. In the very nice yellow car coming into the pit lane now, we have Jamie. In the Golf liveried car, we have Green. Blue Mosquito is in a very nice blue car, suits his name. BX Royal is in a red, white and blue car. Gin Tonics has the red, white car. Another Golf style liveried car is in the hands of Monquan. Jay Leary is in, let me check again, that looks like a silver Mercedes. Deco is in a purple orange car, and Jessa is in an orange black car. There will be a lot more cars joining, but these are the cars we have at the moment. Now, like I said, it's an annual race. This is the 4th time GP is holding this, and we at Aero are always happy to help out in a charity race, thus that it's streamed on here. Circuit de la Sarthe is a very iconic racing track. I doubt someone doesn't know it. And before we go into the race, there are some points we need to point out, as there is a 1 second penalty for Blue Mosquito. Let's see if Quinn is coming into the pit. Jamie is out on track now. BX Royal is the fastest. For this race, we are expecting 33 drivers divided over 30 cars. So that will be a very good packed grid. The one we need to watch out for in the race is Flying Throne. He isn't here now, but he has won before in this event, so we shall be looking out for him. Paying, and I don't think he is in the server yet, he isn't. That's the lap record on this event with a 3 minute 56.7 tenths. That is a very nice lap indeed, and we'll be seeing if that will be beaten. And other than that, it's just hoping to see what happens. Now, as I said, we've already had qualifying. I'm just going to check if I can get the results. I'm sorry this is taking so long. Oh yeah, also something to note is the tire strategy. So the rules are that everyone needs to use each dry tire compound, so the soft, the medium, the hard, once. And with using once, we don't mean pit lap 1, come out on hards, pit immediately for softs. We mean you go into the pits, you do an out lap, you do a full flying lap, and then you can, that counts as a stint on that tire. So you have to do at least 2 laps on each tire for it to count. This rule, of course, goes out of the window as soon as there is rain and you use a wet tire compound, in other words the inters or the wets. And there has been hinted that there might be needs for the intermediate and the wet tires. But nothing is as predictable on the weather, and especially on a circuit as large as Le Mans, where it can rain in one sector and stay completely dry in another. It will be interesting to see what drivers will do. I now have the qualifying times, and important to know is that in the qualifying, the top 10 have to use the same tires. So we have Rostom, who's at a 4-minute 4.8 with soft tires, so we'll have to start on softs. Leiko with a 4-minute 5.3 on mediums. Jessa with a 4-minute 5.7 on mediums. Flying from close behind with 4-minute 5.8 on mediums. Then we have Gin Tonics with a 406.0 on mediums. Gileri with a 406.5 on mediums. Monk has set on soft tires a 4-minute 8.0. Mr. Grumpy set a 4-minute 8.6 on mediums. Grin set a 4-minute 8.9 on mediums, and Blue Mosquito set a 4-minute 9.4 on mediums. Some other people taking part in qualifying but hadn't set laps are BX Royal, Deco, GP Greenwood and Jamie, so they will have free tire choice. The other car have not turned up for quali and will all get free tire choice as well. Now I don't know if the darkness will continue into the race, but if it does, it will be a very, very interesting race to be, as people will need to be extra careful, especially on this sector where there isn't a lot of light. So you really have to look out for your own brake markers and of course the brake lights of the car ahead. And as you can see, there are some more people hopping in. Most of them are in the pit lane now. We have Rostom on track. We have Blue Mosquito just coming across the Dunlop curve, I think that's called. But on my track knowledge, I haven't been at Le Mans in quite a while. We have Jamie on track on the Mus Lane straight, and ahead of him is BX Royal. Again, as stated, the fastest lap time at the moment is a 4:05. That wasn't too far off from his pole time. So it will be interesting to see how much harder he's going to push it. We just got word that sadly Sietse Bauma, who is obviously a league owner of Aero, is not going to race tonight. He has fallen ill, and I wish him a good recovery, but yeah, if you're ill, you shouldn't drive a track that can be as demanding as Circuit de la Sarthe, as it's officially called. Now, a lot of people could have done some track evaluation from the Le Mans 24 in the last period this year, and most of these guys are returning from last year's race. Take Rostom, what's his name? Jamie is returning. We have, of course, Flying From, who won in the past. So it will all be really interesting to see who will come out on top this year, and in general, who is going to be having to fight the hardest for those positions. As far as I know, there won't be stewarding, so we request of all drivers that they, even though there won't be stewarding, that they drive as cleanly as possible. It is a fun race. We don't need to leave a sour taste because of an incident, because there wasn't stewarding. As BX Royal now pits, we'll stick on board with Jamie, who is just going on the Must Lane straight. So yeah, we want everyone to drive, as that's not a good line, and he teleports to pits. The only one on track now is Blue Mosquito. Not very fast times posted yet, but I mean, it is a practice. This is the time to get your final setups done, to get all the braking points down. So this isn't about setup pace. You can hear the tires just screeching, showing how hard these drivers are pushing themselves. You can see also every car does have the bladder logo on it somewhere, mostly around the doors. Again, that's to show what we are all racing for tonight, for to stop a terrible disease. So yeah, we just got word that there's 5 minutes of free practice left, so everyone could get another lap going, and after that I think we'll go straight into the race. Now, the race will be held on another server as far as I'm aware, so we will have to hop into a different server at that point, and at that point the other, what should it be, 22 drivers will join. Someone just set a fastest sector, I think. Oh, as we see Green pushing a bit too hard. You can do that in practice, but you should not be doing that in the race. He does continue on, so the damage mustn't be that severe. But this is the time to make that type of mistakes. I should also say it will be a 30-lap race. So it's about 2 hours of flat-out racing. And as GP has hinted at, there may be rain. So it should be really interesting, and the qualifying results should probably get shaken up a bit if the rain comes. At the moment, Gin Tonics has set the fastest lap. I don't know why he isn't put at first then, but yeah, a 4-minute 4.5, which is pretty close, if not beating the pole time. I'll scroll up again to see what that was. No, it was, as ring goes off again, that's not what you want to do, but again, this is the time to do it. The pole time was a 4-minute 4.8, so he is 7/10 of the pole time, which you should put into perspective that is, considering this practice and no one is pushing as hard as they did in quali, that's a great indication for how fast people will go in the race itself. And yeah, it should be a really good one. As we should be approaching the final couple of minutes. Yeah, 2 minutes left. So, I doubt you will see anyone else set another lap. Maybe Monk, who is also in the Golf livery car. The nighttime looks so good. It's just sad that we can't see the cars that well, but that's night racing, I guess. I've got not much really more to say. We'll just let the cars do the talking. Rostorm is also out on track. On the end of the Muslane Straight. It's just Le Mans is such a beautiful circuit, and if you can get a lap right, because basically at the start of the lap you have to focus a bit, then you have the Muslane Straight as practice has ended, which can give you a good time to recollect yourself, push for a straight line overtake, and show what you can do really. Can I update? Yeah, I can just spam triangle. Yeah, the Muslane Straight is a really nice thing because you can use the drag of your car and recollect yourself in between the two chicanes. And you should be mentally preparing yourself because what's it called? You have the Indianapolis corner after that, which is pretty tricky, and you have, of course, the I think they're called the Porsche SS, but like that whole S section, which can also be pretty demanding. As GP at the moment is the only car. Let's just... Should I display all or display race info? Only display driving names. What was change camera again? So we have Deco going out of the pits now. And this is again a smaller practice session, just getting people into the lobby and making sure the pit is set up. Are we seeing any cars we just missed? This is also a better way to see them other than the small portraits. So we obviously have Deco in that really nice orange purple. GP green white. GP stayed into the pit last session, so we didn't really see him. Joleri is also out on the pit lane. He is in that black silver car. It's actually not a Mercedes. Once again, you can really nicely see that fight logo on the side of each car. Really important detail. It reminds us why we are here today and what these talented drivers will be racing for. And just to have fun. We can all be very serious about it, but in the end it will always be a fun race. A charity race should be for fun. And Le Mans is, in my opinion, the best circuit to do that on. So I'm glad we are racing here. Rostorm just hopped in. Gin Tonics is out again in that very nice white with red car. I'm not going to say what cars it are because I will have it wrong. This one is a McLaren, I know for sure. Golf livery. Rostorm in a white, black with orange stripes. Looks like a very nice livery. A very good driver as well. Obviously, Rostorm has put in the fastest lap during quali, so we are expecting good things from him. Again, he will be starting on that very nice soft tire with mostly mediums behind him, so that will give him an advantage in tire heating and initial grip. As Deco is entering the final sectors now. In the very nice Lexus, the 35 Lexus. Now I should check. Yeah, there are supposed to be 33 drivers in the lobby. And I'm sure everyone will join back up. So this is just a small extra free practice. And I got confirmation in those 30 laps, in those 2 hours time, we will probably see a 24-hour cycle. So we will race as we have just done, in the dark, and we'll race as we're doing now, in broad daylight. As those tires are just screaming for help, screaming for a slight bit of mercy, but they won't get it. Because this track requires very, very good grip. Think about the Porsche Ashes, the chicanes in the middle of the long back straight. And not to mention the Dunlop section right here. Also a fast section on which grip is one of the best things you can have. Then anyone else on their way out? We have Mr. Grumpy now in a purple car. Don't know what type it is, but it is a really, really nice car. You will also see it really good, except at night. Like, it will reflect the lights of other cars, as this is quite a nice angle we got here. And Deco does have a 5/10 penalty, but the penalties in GT7 are served on a specific part of the circuit, penalty line. So instead of standing still in the pit lane or any like that, you just lose a load of momentum. And if I got it right, the penalty line is at the exit of Indianapolis. Not the worst place to have it, but there are better places to slow down. So if you got a penalty, no matter how small, it will be very, very punishing. As he almost loses the back end. Let's see what Rostorm can do as the pole sitter today. Le Mans just never gets old. It's such a beautiful, beautiful track. We have Green as well. BX Royal just on pit exits. Again in that HRC red, white, blue car. I don't actually think it is an Honda, so for it to run a HRC livery is kind of ironic. If I'm wrong about it and it is a Honda, I'm sorry. I haven't played GT3, GT7 in a while, so I'm not up to date on the cars anymore. As he takes quite some dirt back on the track, any track extends there immediately punished. The track limits here are no joke. As Deco is now going towards the penalty line, as you can see, forced to decelerate. There is the penalty line. You lose some momentum, but you can continue on. Now we have Rostorm in the middle of the Muslane Straight. Behind him we have Grin and we have BX Royal just coming through the first chicane. Very nice camera shot this one. You can see BX Royal in the background there. Rostorm is in the meantime catching up to the second chicane. Takes it very nicely. Keeps the momentum going, and that's a nice line. Can Grin do the same? Approach the chicane, brake quite late actually, and carry the momentum through the corner. BX Royal does it a little bit more sloppy, but that doesn't matter, he makes it through nonetheless. Deco in the moment is approaching the final chicanes. Is now on start-finish line, and start-finish, even though it is pretty long straight, it is not shown as that on the track map. Just to show you how massive this circuit is. GP is GP, Jessa, Jin, Monk, Flying From actually in a blue-white, blue-black car has also joined us. Keep a watch on him. He may not have been the fastest in quali, but he has proven before he can do this. Jalir is still in the pits and Mr. Grumpy as well. As he is now coming on to the long straight. Rostorm is going a bit slower there. Oh wait, that's Indianapolis, I'm sorry. I was watching the wrong part of the track. That was a perfectly good speed to take through there in the Penske car. And we are still waiting on quite some drivers. As he does set the fastest. I don't even know which sector. I think Le Mans has 3 sectors as every other track, but he goes on the line, but that is allowed. He's now approaching the final chicanes to set the finished lap. There's the pit lane, as you can see there. And this final sector is just chicane after chicane after chicane. Get a good exit because the pit straight is again pretty long. A 4:04.7, that's pretty close to his lap time. And we're going to start with 8 drivers. Is this correct? As we're getting the sounds and we're underway for this dirty lap race around legendary Le Mans, as Rostorm leads us away, followed by Leiko, followed by Jessa, Flying From, Gintonics, Charleri, Mr. Crumpy, Frin, Blue Mosquito, Deco, Jamie, GP, PB, and Monk. So 14 cars. As everyone makes it through the first turns, we're going to look at the front because Flying From here is going to make use of the long straight. He's wasting no time to get back up there in the podium positions. He's really on the bumper of Jessa. He is trying to pull out. No room there. Is he going to send it into this chicane? Or is he going to wait patiently for the next car? I think that's a Jaguar, by the way, if I got my cars right. He's going to wait. He is aiming for a better exit out of the first chicane. He has a little snap, but that doesn't ruin his chances yet. He's using the slipstream. Very nice. Rostorm is pulling away a bit, so this is the battle for the highest position we got at the moment. He is right behind him. Is he going to pull out for the second chicane? He is not, but Leiko did not have a good exit out of that second chicane, and these 3 cars now have caught up to him, so this is a 4-way battle, well, 2.5-way battle for second place. As behind Gin Tonics has to look backwards rather than forward because Joleri is right behind him. Mr. Grumpy is still behind ahead of Blue Mosquito, followed by Deco. BX Royal, Jamie and Grin are all together. Grin has a penalty, I believe, but this is really not what you want. Going almost 3 wide into this corner. What has happened ahead? Yeah, that's kind of not what you're supposed to do. He's nearly pushed Deco off track. They're going now 2 wide towards Indianapolis, with Deco and Grin closing up behind them. This is really going to be a battle towards Indianapolis. It looks like everyone is lining up again, waiting to see who will pull out first. It's Deco, but Deco cannot make a move on Jamie as they go into Indianapolis. And no victims yet, but there could have been a bit actually in that whole section only 1 car was pushed wide. Flying Throne is still chasing after Jessa and Leiko up in front. Rostern has checked out by 4 seconds. He said, I'm not dealing with this. Good luck, I'm out. And Leiko is having to look behind him because Jessa and Flying Throne are going to push hard and hard. Looking back at this group here, they have lost Grin. Grin must have made a mistake because he's now behind GP. As we see BX World going through the grass a bit, he is stuck behind Deco. He wants to make that move, but he can't just push him aside. He's going for the move, but Deco on his turn is going for a move on Jamie, and that was a really nice move. Jamie's line slightly compromised. BX World is behind him, but there is no issues for him yet. He has dropped to P9, but it could have been worse. Now, Green and Monk in both the Golf liveries, one is a Porsche, one is a McLaren, are now right behind GP, and GP needs to keep his head calm as Monk cuts the corner a bit. There was no penalty given, but it has given him the momentum to try and fight Green in the McLaren. He makes the overtake. Can he make it another overtake up into P12? The Porsche is pretty good on corner exits if you can keep it stable. Does he keep it stable? He does, and he does get a pretty good exit there. GP doesn't have that good of an exit, and he's now in the slipstream, gaining and gaining and gaining over this whole straight. He makes the move. Will he make the overtake before the chicane, or does he have to outbrake GP? He's slotting back behind, as Jessa has overtaken Leiko. They're still side by side for that second place, but look how close they are together. Flying Throne has checked out a bit. He's now looking backward to Gin Tonic, who has made the gap to Jaleri. But these two going side by side toward the second chicane. It's going to look pretty close. Can Jessa close it? He is still alongside. Slight contact, but no big damage. The BMW is trying to pull back alongside the Mercedes. He can do it, but Flying Throne had been waiting patiently. The Jaguar is back in this fight, and he drags Gin Tonics waiting behind him. Boston has fully checked out, and them fighting doesn't make it better. Are they going to push each other off track again? No, everyone stays within track limits, and they're still going side by side towards Indianapolis. Leiko has to slot back in, and that gives Flying From the opportunity to maybe make a double overtake. He is alongside Jessa. He is past Leiko. Leiko does get it back again, and he tries to fight back for second place. This is getting really close with these four. Rostorm is a gap of over 7 seconds. As Jessa is going side by side, can he make it around? He goes, oh, as there is contact between Gin Tonics and Flying From. Flying From was backwards, and Flying From is losing a lot of positions here. Will there be damage? He goes really slow. Jamie has to take a fight in action, but that's not what you want to see for a battle so close. Meanwhile, we have to fight back here, as Leiko probably has backed off a bit. No, he hasn't. He's still on top of Jessa, despite that accident behind them. And you can see some dark clouds hovering over the circuit. Is it going to rain this today here at Circuit de Lassard, or are they just warning clouds but no rain? As the number 1 car is getting really close to the Mercedes ahead. These two have been fighting since lap 1, and they're not giving up that fight either. As Leiko pulls alongside again. Mercedes or BMW, who will get ahead into turn 1? It looks like Leiko has got the position, but Jessa is still alongside. Not anymore. Leiko kept his foot down, got the position, and takes lap 3 into second place. The gap is nearly 10 seconds. Rostorm has checked out, and unless something else happens, I doubt he will be caught. Meanwhile, this is a fight we haven't been really paying attention to. Tico has caught up to Gin Tonics, who is behind Mr. Crumpy and Joe Leary. I'm sorry, I got the hiccup suddenly. Blue Mosquito is fighting off BX Royal. Behind them, Flying From properly, sporting some slight damage. As we can see, BX Royal, where is he? He's there, making the overtake on Blue Mosquito. But can he keep it into the chicane? They're going side by side. BX Royal breaks a bit early for that inside line, but he does take a very good line, stays ahead of Blue Mosquito, and that was very nicely done. Meanwhile, Gin Tonics is looking to go behind these two, Jaleri and Mr. Crumpy. Mr. Crumpy makes the overtake. Jaleri moves across a bit. No problems there. Do they actually both have number 87? Because that's fun. Gin Tonics tries to make it 3 wide. This is not what you want to do into a chicane. Jaleri backs out. Gin Tonics is fighting really hard. Takes a suboptimal line and loses also the position to Jaleri, or can he get it going again? He is up to speed, but Jaleri has gotten it faster. And move is not done yet, as Digo is behind him, looking very hungrily at what's about to happen. As Gin Tonics is still there, he goes for the outside move, nearly loses it, but keeps some momentum going, and this fight invites BX Royal, Blue Mosquito, who is a penalty, which means Flying From will move up the order. But this fight is far from over, as Dico is going for a move on Jaleri. Look at how close these cars are all together. Is it going to be a move? No, Dico is just too far back. Now we will see that Blue Mosquito is going to slow down at the penalty line. Dico is going for a move on Gin Tonics. He is there on the inside. Gin Tonics takes a white line, a bit too wide, and I think that means Dico gets the position Flying Throne is up in 9th, and you can see that Blue Mosquito lost quite some momentum there, but the fight is still not over. Jolary and Mr. Grumpy are pulling away a bit as Gin Tonics goes for a move on Deco. He's just a bit too far back. But they're still going side by side. And Deco has won out. Gin Tonics had to back out there. Lost also to BX Royal, who was at the right time, at the right place, right time. As Rostam, those softs really have costed him, really gained him some time. But now it's time for him to get into the pit lane, get rid of them, which gives Leko the lead, and he is actually pulled away from Jessa a bit. So he can now focus on pace, try to stay ahead of Ross. As also Monk is in the pit lane. What tires will be going on the car? Can we see that? We cannot. Monk is also coming into the pit lane. Jamie has a penalty, nearly cuts a corner, nearly rear ends Blue Mosquito, and he is not having the race that he originally wanted. Then we have Flying Throne fighting with Gin Tonics, who has that penalty, and this fight here is still going strong. Gin Tonics a penalty. Anyone else a penalty? No, but this is the battle for third, which is insane, seen as up to P8 is involved in it, 6 cars. Well, split up in 2 smaller groups. Flying Throne is wanting to make a move, but I don't think he will be able to, because Gin Tonics fancies a move on Jolary, and Flying Throne actually follows him through. Is he going for an attack immediately? He goes for the double overtake. Does he make the corner? Yes, in a suboptimal line. Gin Tonics goes wide. Where's Gin Tonics? Gin Tonics lost even more time, and Jolary is getting back at Flying Throne. This is quite a switch of positions, but doing this means they disconnected from the fight for third, which is also growing quite well, as Deco and BX Royal are going to make it 3 wide, or is BX Royal going to stick behind? BX Royal sticks behind, does not the overtake on Mr. Grumpy. Does he stay within track limits? Well, Deco certainly didn't, loses some time, and this is going to be quite a run. BX Royal gets a time penalty. Not what you want, but it happens either way. This takes a slight bit of pressure off Mr. Grumpy after Indianapolis, as BX Royal will have to lift for a bit. Until then, BX Royal is still under his rear wing, but Mr. Grumpy is looking up front, because just up front is, as I may remind, podium positions. But then fighting has invited Flying Throne, Jolary, Gin Tonics, Blue Mosquito and Jamie back, even though all these guys will have penalties to serve, as will BX Royal. Mr. Grumpy is looking at a very nice move. Will he make it into Indianapolis? He's right underside him, but I think he will wait. No, he goes for a late lunge. It won't work out. And we'll see BX Royal losing some positions here, as Flying Throne once again takes advantage of someone taking a penalty. He slows down now. Is it enough for Flying Throne to overtake him? It is enough for Flying Throne with his momentum. And Flying Throne moves up again, as Mr. Grumpy does want to send it side by side through the burst curves, but Deco is not having that. Deco defends really well, and we're already on lap 5. The fact that those soft tires only went 3 laps, by the way, that's kind of insane. Now, Mr. Grumpy is losing a bit of connection with Deco, which you don't want to see, and he's now under threat from Flying Throne. Going into the chicane section, as I like to call it. with Flying From and BX Royal on his tail. BX Royal got a better exit, had nowhere to go, but he will be trying to make an overtake here. The group has fallen a bit apart. We can see Blue Mosquito and Jamie being right behind each other. Remember, these guys have penalties that may have ruined them a bit. What's the gap between Jessa and Lecco? It's 4 seconds. Not completely undoable, but Mr. Grumpy has lost contact with the podium positions. And now in the Mustang straight, you don't want to be the car ahead, because the slipstream will be a major player in this, as BX Royal gains another penalty at the same section, which is not what you want to see from him. If he loses 5/10 every lap, he will lose 15 seconds in total, as Flying Throne goes for the move, makes it stick, and BX Royal follows suit. And this is what I mean, you do not want to be the first car in that train, because you lose 2 positions easily. Some lockup, Flying Throne does make the corner, blocks Mr. Grumpy in the meantime, and this means BX Royal may just get away with his penalty, because he is pulling a bit of a gap. And he is definitely closing the gap on Deco. So BX Royal may even be looking for a P2 finish. And we can see that Jessa... Oh no, that's a lapped car. Or that... Is that a lapped car? No, that's not a lapped car. Oh wait, Leico went slow because of the chicane. I thought suddenly Jessa gained a bunch of time, but Jessa himself has a penalty as well, which will work nicely for Deco to catch back up to him, as Flying Throw may get the position back if he can hold on to P5, because BX Royal again has that penalty. But Flying Throw goes wide, loses position to Mr. Grumpy, who says thank you very much for that, and the chase continues. Meanwhile, where is Ross? Ross is 34 seconds off the lead. That pit stop is a pretty long one, but getting those softs out of the way early means that the early pit stop has been made, and he can go a bit longer on the other sets. Flying Throne has lost the connection, so Mr. Crump will take that 4th place of BX Royal, because he's right on him, and BX Royal will slow down in after this turn. He can speed up a bit, and then he hits the penalty line. And Mr. Crump says thank you, takes the position. BX Royal is safe from Flying Throne? Question mark. Yeah, he is. But Flying Throne does send it around the outside. They're still side by side, and the outside line is just not optimal there. BX Royal loses 2 positions because of his penalty, with Flying Throne taking 5th and Mr. Crump taking 4th. But Deco has closed up to Jessa now, and this is going to be a fight for 2nd place. If they back each other up, Mr. Crump might be getting into this fight, as BX Royal runs wide again. No penalty this time, but these two are going to fight hard. Is Jessa into the pit lane? No, he just took as close to the line as he could, trying to make as much of the track position he has. Will it matter though? The Lexus has a bit of snap, but it isn't enough for the snap to upset the car. Mr. Crump and Flying Throne are into the pit on mediums. Blue Mosquito also goes into the pit. Jessa has managed to hold on to Deco, but with the pit stops behind them, the pressure is very much off Deco, and BX Royal will be trying to make up time while his rivals are in the pit lane. I am going to grab a drink, so sorry if I missed this battle. Actually, I'm going to wait, because Deco has decided to send it on Jessa, BX Royal has closed up to them. So these two may be on older mediums where BX Royal are now working hard. Will this overtake stick? Jessa is coming back at him. Lexus versus Mercedes. Which car will have the upper end coming into the chicane? It looks like Jessa has got it. Jessa has still retained second place, but they have brought BX Royal into the mix, who is right behind them. No penalty this time, which will help him in this fight. Deco is in the slipstream, gaining ever so slightly more, but you can see how close they are. He pulls out for the overtake into the chicane. Who brakes later? They brake around at the same time. Deco makes the move stick. Jessa backs off, runs wide, and BX Royal also got the position of him there. The Mercedes really struggling on probably older tires, and he may need to surrender those positions, as these two may be pulling away from him. Now I'm going to grab that ring. No one overtake each other. And they have listened, no one has overtaken each other. But BX Royal is not very far away from that overtake into second. As you can see, he's still not alongside. He's waiting until the last moment. He is going for it into the Porsche curves, as Deco makes himself as wide as he possibly can, taking as much speed. Does BX Royal get the penalty? No, he doesn't. And he is right behind him, behind Deco. He goes for the move, but he doesn't make it stick yet. Meanwhile, Jessa is really losing time here. I'm surprised this Jessa doesn't box this lap, because whatever tire is on, they're shot. Meanwhile, Leiko has a 6-second gap. As Deco defends, BX Royal has some overspeed. There is no contact, but BX Royal tucks back underneath. These two are fighting really hard for what they should be fighting hard for. BX Royal sees a gap on the inside. Deco closes the door. They're still fighting through this section. Will BX Royal be able to make a move next lap? As Deco pulls into the pits, BX Royal ducks into the pits. Jessa, despite all the time he lost, ducks into the pits. And I think a lot of people are moving into the pit. This is the time for the medium runners and even a hard runner. And I understand why Jessa was going slow, because he had to conserve fuel. Now we're going to see Leiko also in the pit lane, by the way. And you can see how long the pit lane is just by how long it takes for everyone to get in. But I want to focus on the battle in this pit lane. We have BX Royal, Deco coming into the pit lane here. Behind them we have Jessa, but it's between these two cars. Which one will be moving faster? Refueling. Do we see any movement on either of them? I can actually just see this. And Deco goes. BX Royal stayed and fueled a bit long more. And that gave Deco an advantage. Jessa also got that. And there is Flying Throne. Flying Throne has a penalty, but he's right behind these two. He has got pretty much on pace since pitting. And he is going to try to make this move while their tires are still cold. And it looks like Deco has got a bit of a gap here towards Jamie and BX Royal. But Leiko still has a 3-second gap. and Rostorm now has a 17-second gap. So we can see BX Royal under pressure from Flying Throne. Flying Throne does make the move, but we again get the question, will Flying Throne be fast enough to pull away from BX Royal to serve his penalty? Seeing as BX Royal manages to stick right behind him in that dirty air and now in the slipstream, I doubt BX Royal won't go for it into the Porsche curves. But Deco is now under pressure from Jamie. Jamie has gained quite some time on Deco, and he's pulled away from Flying Throne as well. And he's now on the verge of P3. We also know that where is he? Jessa. Why is Jessa so far back? Jessa must have made a mistake, which won't help him at all, because Jessa did stay short in the pit shorter, so he is a little more limited on fuel. He might be gone with a softer tire, but we'll have to see that, as Deco has been overtaken by Jamie. He tries to fight back into Indianapolis. Nothing happening there. Flying Throne now going through. He will have the penalty, of course. Oh wait, this isn't Indianapolis yet. Sorry, it's the end of the straight. Some corners look alike and it messes me up. But I can already tell that Flying Throne will not be holding on to that position. Deco will be fighting again. Jamie is gaining hugely on Lakel, so he might be promoting himself into second. Deco is just losing time here, not making use of that less fuel that he has. Although he is gaining again a bit. And is that a penalty for Jamie? Jamie got a penalty, but it will be served next lap. Flying Throne's penalty is being served right now. Will BX Royal be able to make the move? Or does Flying Throne have the momentum to keep himself into fifth? It looks like it. BX Royal is nowhere near the rear end of Flying Throne, and thus Flying Throne gets to live another day and can use this lap to pull away from BX Royal without penalty. Meanwhile, Deco needs to stick with Jamie, who is gaining on Lakel, because Jamie has that 5/10 penalty that he needs to serve next lap. Rostorm has created the gap up to 19 seconds. Then Lakel has a 1.2 second gap to Jamie, and Deco is within 6/10 of him. So this is going to be quite a fight for second place between these three at the moment. Now, Deco and Lakel have been fighting for it a long time. While Flying Throne has lost time to BX Royal. BX Royal is right on him, and this long straight with slipstream won't help that either. But this isn't an overtaking corner, and BX Royal decides to wait for the Mus Lane straight. He goes wide. Is that a penalty? Doesn't look like it. So he gets away with that. But now waiting for the straight, he's going to use the slipstream, and he wants a good exit here. Because if he can get a good exit, it is his best sector one. If he can get a really good exit here, he may be able to make the overtake on Flying Throne back for fifth. Deco is on the rear end of Lakel, who has been passed by Jamie, who still has the penalty, of course. Will Deco be able to make the move this lap, this straight? It looks like it. He's pulling alongside, but he doesn't stick it before the first chicane. He's going into the slipstream, waiting for the second chicane. In the meantime, Jamie needs to pull away from these two if he wants to remain in that second place. If not, we know he has the pace to fight it back, but yeah. BX Royal has backed off a bit from Flying Throne. His exit was not good at all, as he's still losing time. As Lakel manages to stay ahead. Jamie goes off track. He still has his penalty, but he is the fastest man on track right now. Leiko really has to defend here, and this is only going to help Jamie retain his lead even after his penalty, even though he's got a 1 second penalty now. So he may still lose this. Meanwhile, Deco on the inside on Leiko. Can he make the move stick? He pushes him a bit wide. Leiko tries to go for the switchback. But it couldn't be helped. Deco makes the move. Leiko is immediately slides back into that slipstream. Now these two shouldn't be fighting too much, as Jamie still has that 1 second slowdown. Flying Throne is still holding BX Royal at bay with another good exit. Deco under pressure. Is this going to be a move into Indianapolis? No, Leiko is too far back. But Jamie will have to slow down now. He has a 1.8 second gap. Is that enough to maintain in P2, or will Deco get another overtake? He is slowing down. Penalty served. But he had to lift for a long time. He lost a lot of momentum. And there goes Deco. Will Leiko also get a move? Or will it just be one move? Jamie only lost 1 position. And with the pace he has shown, he will be up into P2 very quickly again. Meanwhile, Flying Throne has fully pulled away from BX Royal. BX Royal not liking either the setup, the tires, or the track in general. He is struggling for pace. But Jamie really wants to push past the Lexus here. The Renault does have some pace, but he also needs to keep watch for the BMW behind. It is a good exit for Jamie though. It is a personal best despite the penalty. So if he didn't have the penalty, he would have gained way more time. But he's right on the rear end of Deco. He is not going for the move here. He's going to wait for the Muslane straight. And that's a very good option because you gain a lot of time in the slipstream of that corner. We're almost on 1/3 of the way. And it's still very nice weather outside. I don't see the threatening clouds anymore. But they may reappear on a different side of the circuit. Meanwhile, Jamie taking the slipstream under Muslane straight. That Renault really wanting to push himself up into second place, showing what he got. But Deco is not wanting to give that up, but he is losing time. He is losing a lot of time. He needs a good corner through here. Jamie is sticking right behind him, making the most of that exit, not gaining a penalty. And Jamie does put in the fastest sector here. So no matter what Deco does, he needs to improve. And fast, the gap is closing under 3/10 now. Jamie is very eager to make this move into the slipstream. The gain is bigger and bigger and bigger. Does he pull out? Does he wait? He chooses to wait. Deco is very much feeling this pressure. Flying Throne is catching slightly onto Leiko. But these two are really at it. Now Deco did gain a little bit of time back, but Jamie will be in that slipstream, really enjoying it. The gap to Roston, by the way, has dropped by 4 seconds. I don't know if that was a mistake by Ross or just bad cornering and hard pushing from the others. Talking of bad cornering, that was not the exit Deco was looking for. And Jamie smells an opportunity. He's right on him. He is going for it even before they reach Indianapolis. He makes the overtake. But they're still side by side. He still needs to keep space. Not anymore. He's ahead. And Deco will be looking to make a push up onto Jamie, but with the pace Jamie has shown, there isn't that much that Deco can do here. But he's still on the rear wing. He's right behind him. One small braking mistake and both of them are in the gravel. It doesn't happen. No penalties this lap, as Leiko has lost a lot of time. But we'll look at that when we get there, because right now Deco is still really up the rear wing of his rival. Will Jamie be able to maintain position? It looks like it. He even brakes a bit later and he's trying to make a gap now. Deco is following suit. Leiko is also under heavy pressure behind. He may lose fourth as well, as Flying Foam is being held up here and wants to get past. Deco hasn't managed to make the move yet. The gap is still under 310, so there's a lot of opportunity here. But Jamie is fast. Jamie goes into the pit. Does Jamie have damage, or did Jamie just pick a soft tire compound and pit before he loses too much time? It doesn't matter. It gives Deco some breathing space. As Flying Foam also passes him, he doesn't set a personal best, but he's right up the rear of his rival. And he's lost so much time that Aero is almost back within a second. That's how much Leiko is holding up Flying Foam, and Flying Foam does want this move made, and he wants it quick. So quick that he isn't even going to wait for the mid-lane straight. He asserts his dominance, make the overtake, and BX Royal now has to overtake Leiko as fast as possible. But Leiko will have the slipstream from Flying Foam, so this may be a plan, an idea from Flying Foam to keep Leiko occupied. And both of them get a penalty. BX Row is the one who doesn't get a penalty here, and this may play out really nicely for, I think it's a Ford. I don't know what car that is. It doesn't really matter because he is on the rear wing of Leiko and he doesn't have a penalty. Is he going for descent anyway? He doesn't need to. He just needs to stay patient and make the move in the penalty zone, or make the move before the penalty zone and break away from them in the penalty zone. As he's right up the rear of Flying Foam. This is for podium, and BX Row has been going faster and faster. But Leiko doesn't lay down. Leiko goes for the overtake. Does he make it a double overtake? Probably not. Nope. But there is slight contact between BX Royal and Leiko, so that's not looking too good. But either way, BX Royal will take the positions in the penalty zone. Looking a little bit further on the grid, we have Gin Tonics fighting with Jezza. Jezza was looking really good, but now he's just fighting for midfield positions. Really a fall from grace, if I have to be honest. He was looking so good, and then he made that mistake, dropped down the grid, and hasn't been able to pick up the pace yet. Galeri 2 seconds. No man's land, no man's land, no man's land. Obviously no man's land, and last place. So the only battle we can look at is Leiko, Flying Foam and BX Royal. But BX Royal is going for the overtake here. He doesn't need to, if he keeps calm, because these two will have to slow down. Flying Foam may actually have a bit of an advantage here, because Leiko has been holding on BX Royal. He may be getting away with his penalty. We can only wait and see. He's slowing down. He's going again. BX Royal makes the pass on Leiko. Surprise, surprise. But can he make the move on Flying Foam? That's the question here. Leiko is being left behind by these two. And I don't know if it's a tire issue or fuel saving, but his lap times are not looking good. Like, he was 2 seconds slower last lap. And that's not what you want when fighting these guys. We're both doing 204s. Hell, Flying Throne did a 203 last lap. But BX Royal is right up his rear wing. Roston jumps into the pit lane. Deco continues on. So Deco will re-inherit the lead. Flying Throne dives into the pit lane again. What does Leiko do? Leiko just messes up his corner and loses a lot of time to BX Royal because of that. So BX Royal now has to breathe in space. Looking really, really good. What tire will Rostom go to? What tire will Flying Throne go to? And this pit lane is really, really long. We have Mr. Grumpy pit in from hard tires. Rostom fueling up. Is he going to mediums or did he go off the mediums? I don't remember. I am going to keep a look on. No, it doesn't look like they switched the tires they are moving off from, but yeah. It's been a while since I've played this, but Deco now has a 5-second lead to BX Royal. BX Royal is going to push. Leiko has again a 5/10 penalty, so he is going to drop off even further from BX Royal, who will be happy to see that. A slight gap to get an advantage from his rival, while he's chasing after the leader of this race. Did Leiko make a mistake there? He certainly did. He's losing time to BX Royal. Deco is losing time to BX Royal. Gin Tonics is keeping pretty nice. Jessa is still behind him. Rosturm had set the fastest lap, a 4:03.0. Is that the fastest lap even despite qualifying? I think it is. Yes, it is. So that's a very, very fast lap there. Let's see who's faster overall here. Over here, Gin Tonics is having the advantage. Leiko is not having fun. BX Royal is trying to dig deeper into that gap between himself and Deco. He isn't worried about Leiko. He knows he's faster and that Leiko has the penalty. So he is under no pressure there. Yet he almost spins out. So does Leiko, struggling to keep the rear of the car straight. And these guys may have to pit again soon if they're fighting this much with the tires. Roston came out 40 seconds behind the lead, but he is basically a pit stop at. Blue Mosquito is having a penalty. Then we have Jamie, and Flying Throne is 55 seconds behind the lead. Not where you want to be, but he can make it any better. BX Royal is keeping the gap honest, but the gap with Leiko is improving, and now even more as Leiko is closing up to that penalty line and will have to slow down for 5/10s. And it doesn't seem much, 5/10s, but it's not a 5/10 penalty. It's standing still for 5/10s or slowing down. And you lose more in momentum than that you lose in time specific. So even though 5/10s may seem minor for a corner cut, it's actually pretty harsh, but you need to punish drivers in some way. Will Deco dive into the pit lane again? Doesn't look like it, he continues on. BX Royal, I'm surprised if he dives in. Leiko, I think, will dive in as he got another penalty. He's not enjoying his time. And it's just the start of the lap, so he may get even more penalties, losing even more time, getting more frustrated. It's just a vicious cycle for him. BX Royal is continuing on. Gin Tonic's coming across the line. What is his time looking like? Not a really good one. but he does have a good gap to Jessa, so he's got that going for him. Any other fights? Blue Mosquito and Jamie. Yeah, Jamie just got past and Blue Mosquito pulls into the pit lane. Nothing too much to say there. But he does crash into the wall, or did he just escape that fate? I don't know. It was in any case a little risky on pit exit, and Flying Throne takes his position over. Rostorm is now 39 seconds off the lead, so he is gaining, and he will re-inherit the lead as we're now going into the the crossover period between day and night as the sun is setting. It's getting darker, and I hope everyone has their brake markers memorized, because as the sun sets and it gets darker, you will need to remember all brake markers. Meanwhile, BX Row is really closing up to Deco here. Remember, Deco stayed shorter in the pit lane, so he may have less fuel and a softer compound that is falling off now. Hence why BX Royal is gaining so much on him. This is the closest battle we have. Yeah, it is. But that's fitting because it is the fight for first, with BX Royal gaining more and more time. Deco fighting with the car, BX Royal not so much. No penalties there. Lekel is really struggling and has the penalty again. So it will be quite a gap between Deco and Lekel after the overtake. So I think these two may also be done fighting each other for this race, which is good for Deco, not good for Lekel. Yeah, I can literally focus on nothing more than the 1.7 gap that's shrinking and shrinking as Deco is losing heaps of time to be BX Royal in this part of the race. And we're nearly at the halfway mark as well. And though it is very likely that Rostom wins, we are only halfway. A lot can happen in this time, as Flying Throne is looking to gain more and more time. The headlights are coming on, the brake lights are, or not the brake lights, the rear lights are now also on. The sun is under, and it will get dark and dark very soon. Where's Deco? Did Deco pull into the pit? Deco did pull into the pit lane, as the cables of the air guns were doing something pretty weird. But yeah, Deco goes into the pit. Lekel goes into the pit, and he's going to lose more time to Deco. As Gin Tonics goes into the pit, what does Jessa does? Jessa pits, Jaliri pits, Rostorm doesn't need to pit. Surely he continues on, and he does. Deco's tires are attached as Lekel just pulls into the lane. And again, Deco did go on a softer tire. I'm wondering what his strategy this time will be. Rostom just 35 seconds between himself and BX Royal. And BX Royal will lose that time in another pit stop. Jamie continues on because Jamie pitted earlier. Deco is out. Flying Throne goes past. Lekel is still in the pit lane. Full tank. Now on pit out. Gin Tonics is going now. He is on softs. Lenal is behind Flying Throne. Flying Throne is right behind Deco. And Deco's tire, I don't know if in GT they're allowed to use tire blankets or not, because otherwise Flying Throne does have a lasting advantage at the moment that his tires are warmed up against those of Deco. This is now the fight we want to see. I wonder when BX Royal pits where he comes out in relation to Flying Throne and Deco, but especially Flying Throne, as Flying Throne has been fast. Yeah, Flying Throne pitted just last lap, so it will be interesting to see how the undercut has worked out for him. As there was Jamie ahead there. BX Royal is just into that sector, and Rostorm. The gap between Jamie and Rostorm isn't that big actually. Rostorm just pitted 1 lap early, 1 lap later. Deco has a penalty, and Flying Throne is going to make use of that penalty. The gap is now 8 seconds to Leco as well, so staying out long on those hards really hurt him. Well, you would say that the tires won't hold longer, as now it's getting darker yet darker. With the sun now fully set and the lights on, this only will get worse from here. I really hope everyone has the brake markers memorized and made use of the practice session in the night, because this is what they will have to deal with for the coming period. Flying Throne is catching ever so slightly more against his rival. Rostorm, I think, has set a new fastest lap. Yeah, a 4. Actually, was it that already? Yeah, I don't remember. Meanwhile, BX Royal is still 36 seconds ahead of Rostorm. Rostorm's brakes are almost on fire. He is keeping the gap to Jamie at a similar rate, and Deco will have to slow down. Here comes Flying Throne, but I think the gap is a bit too far ahead. I think even though he loses a lot of momentum, I think Deco will be able to hold on to P4 for the time being, and he will. Jamie is getting slightly on Rostorm, as Rostorm is slipping and sliding. You can see without the lights how dark it is on track right now. You cannot see the track. It's completely dark now, and these are the conditions we will be seeing for some time now. It will be really hard without names to make out who's who and where there is a car, but these drivers have practiced in these conditions. They know what they must do. They know how to do it. BX Royal is in the pit lane. He gives up the lead, but where does he come out in relation to Deco? Deco goes past. Where does he come out in relation to Flying Throne? Flying Throne goes past. He's completely fueled off. He goes now. There's Flying Throne. He is behind Flying Throne, but most importantly, he is ahead of Leco, so there is no time lost there. Gin Tonics is gaining on Leco. Jamie is catching on top on Rostorm. So definitely, yeah, he is on softer tires. He has to be. Jamie has to be on softer tires. But BX Royal is now still behind Flying Throne, coming onto the Muslane straight. 1.6 is the gap, and 2.6 is the gap to Deco. But Deco has a penalty again, so he will lose time to the cars behind. Gin Tonics smells opportunity. Both of these have pits in lap 12, and the gap is fastly getting smaller. So I doubt it will take very long for Gin Tonics to get up to P6. And I'm kind of happy, wrong to say, but I'm kind of happy not a lot of people have showed up for this. Because I'm already having trouble keeping up with everything that happens on track. How is it between Jamie and Rostom? Still 3 seconds. Rostom is keeping the gap honest without wasting too much of his tires. BX Royal now under 2 seconds. Leiko under 1.5 seconds. This fight is really becoming something. And it's very clear that Leiko has done something wrong. Whether it's the setup or the tire strategy or not having enough fuel or anything. He is not going up the pace he needs to be. Further back, some names that we haven't been focused on. Jessa and Mr. Grumpy. Really close together. 7 tenths is the gap. 6 tenths now even. Behind them, no close fights. Rain in the pit. But this is what we want to focus on for now. You can see Jalery in the back. You can see him now, but like, this is how quickly it switched in the span of 1 lap. Wait, where is Mr. Crump? Mr. Crump ran very, very wide, and he's going to lose the position to Jalery as well. I'm sure of it. He lost 5 seconds, and Jalery is going to jump on this opportunity. A very, very unfortunate mistake there. But things happen in racing. It's very sad. And Jalery is going to make the most of this opportunity he has. How are we looking back up? Gap isn't close enough. This gap really, really close. Mr. Grumpy is feeling pressure from Jalery behind. As I can hear the brakes screaming for mercy, the tires squealing under the pressure that they constantly put under. It looks like Grumpy has recovered and is pulling away from Jalery again. But the position loss to Jessa, that one will sting. Meanwhile, we have Jamie coming in, so he went for softer tire down Ross. That's why he managed to stay up with him. There goes Flying From, there goes BX, there goes Leiko. Gin Tonic's also really close behind him, going faster and faster on his laps. Jamie just standing still now. Jessa make the move? Jessa will make the move. As Mr. Grumpy and Jalery are also going to make the move. Jamie now switched the tires, but the fueling will not be fast enough for him to remain in these positions. Because pit exit will put him at pit exit, but not close enough. As he is now out on hard tires. Monk is also in the pit lane now. Gin Tonics is still gaining on Lionel, but not gaining enough. He wants to go faster. BX Royal, once again a penalty. Not catching up to Flying From. Flying From is not really catching up to Deco either, so Deco is probably on softer tires. Or Flying From is trying to save his tires. He must be, because BX Royal is gaining now. But again, BX Royal does have the penalty again. I want to see how many penalties people have got and how much it has messed them up in this time. Because they have lost quite a bit of time for penalties. Gin Tonics is really not catching up. So Leno may have gotten to grips with the setup or the tires, or what's the problem. Or he has been driving conservative the whole race. But I doubt that. I really doubt that. Let's see, where are the battles? here are the battles. Joleri and Grumpy fighting for position. Joleri has made the move stick now. But now Grumpy is going on the attack. Very heavy fights for P8 and 9 here. At the back of the field you may call it, because with only 14 cars there isn't a lot of traffic. Oh, and this is what I got wrong. So the number 33, as in drivers, was the number of drivers in total of all the events. It may be because of how Indianapolis looks, but it looked like a car was sideways there. The Aero has dropped back a bit again. Flying From has dropped back. Deco is actually catching Rostorm. 403, 7.7. Rostorm has been making some mistakes. I don't know how else he lost a couple of seconds there. I don't know what's going on with him, but Deco is catching him now. On very, very fresh tires. We're now also on the halfway point of the race. Ross is going to cross the line to start lap 60 out of 30. There we go. We're now officially on the halfway point of this very, very exciting race. Middle of the night. I'm excited to see how it will end. Again, a 407 from Ross. Brilliant character, really slow compared to most of his other laps. Deco Mimo is staying in the 404s. Deco is most likely on mediums or softs. And the gap is coming down really, really fast. But Ross, I don't think Ross is really concerned with him. Ross has been on a longer stint. Ross will gain time when Deco has to pit early again. As nothing much is happening elsewhere. How is Joleri looking? Grump is in the pit again, JP is in the pit. Blue Mosquito is going to get a few positions. Gin Tonics has completely dropped off. Flying From is driving his race, not concerned with others. And we can actually now see Rostorm. I think that Deco is the first one to challenge Ross from the lead in all 16 laps, which just shows how dominant Rostorm has driven until now. To be only be challenged for the first time at lap 16. If he can catch up, because Ross is pushing away again. It's like Ross wants to conserve his tires and lets Deco close up a bit before fully pushing again. Sorry. As the gap is coming down again. Flying From is now also, well, not catching again, but yeah, he's slightly catching, but not by a lot. And he lost a lot of time previously, so BX Royal is also pretty far away from him. Deco most likely was on softs because he's losing time to Rostorm at some points, and actually it looks like the straights are the points where he suffers. I don't know much about setups on GT7, but could it be that he's running a bit more downforce? to gain time in the corners, but losing a lot of time in the straights. Again, I don't really know how setups work on GT7, as the tires are really screaming now. But he is really close to Rostom now. What does Rostom do this lap? As he comes through the final part, he's really seeing the lights of Deco now. Rostom does a 4:07, 4:08 even, and flying from, yeah, actually Deco also does a 4:05, so he gained 3 seconds. Flying from dives into pit lane. He's been followed by Gin Tonics, who was on the softs. But these two are now really close together. Rostorm is now genuinely being challenged for the lead. Something he hasn't had for the entire race. And now there's suddenly a car on him. Not that he's faster than or that he pitted before, but one that's genuinely going to fight him for the lead as we're going late into the night and onto the long straight. Here into the first chicane. Will he pull out? Will he put the pressure on early? Or does he wait until the second chicane? There is nothing separating them. A bit of bump drafting. I'm not sure if it's allowed, but there aren't stewards anyway. So might as well be a little cheeky. Stick behind him, get a better exit, and do the move on the next straight. He is still sticking behind him, 5 seconds behind. There is no pressure from behind. Rostom is pulling away a little bit, but 3 Deco is under no pressure at all. He takes it really calm. Is he going to pull out, or is he going to stick it behind Rostom? He's still sticking it behind. He doesn't want to give Rostom an inch of slipstream, so he leaves it as late as he possibly can. Now he's going to challenge him into the next corner most likely, or is he going to wait another straight? He's going to wait another straight. Meanwhile, BX Royal is gaining a little bit. Deco cannot be held up by Bros for too long now. The brakes really hot. Rostom goes deep. Deco cannot capitalize on it. But he is still behind him. There is still slipstream. And these two are still pushing each other pretty hard. Is he still not going to pull out? He still isn't going to pull out. He is going to wait until the Porsche curves. Or he's going to make a really dumb dive into Indianapolis. Once again, the tire screaming. Does he make the switch back? He doesn't. He does stick on Ross though. But he shouldn't be waiting too long. He is bleeding time compared to BX Royal. He really needs to make the move, and he needs to make the move soon. Because BX Royal is gaining over the last couple of laps. He's still behind him. I don't know if he has no confidence in his overtaking speed or what his tactic is, but yeah, that is not going to work. You should not stick behind someone for half the lap and then try to go for it on the Porsche SS. That's not an overtaking spot, unless you're already side by side. And he's now taking weird lines, which allow BX Royal into the fight, and this was not tactically played by Deco. Rostom dives into the pit, and that's what Deco was waiting for. But he left it too late, because BX Royal is now on him. and he's going to have to fight for the lead once again, this time not attacking, this time defending. I also have to say everyone has been really clean. I haven't seen a single yellow flag yet, and the only big mistake we've seen is from Mr. Crumpy, but that was a slight lock-up, there was nothing serious. So we really have to appreciate the levels of cleanliness and the level of sportsmanship and the level of consistency these drivers are showing us here tonight, with only 13 laps to go and a fight for the lead that's going down to it. Rostom was on mediums, pretty old mediums. He is fueling up for a full stint. I'm expecting hards or mediums, as BX Royal is now on bump drafting on Deco, and I doubt BX Royal will wait as long as BX Royal did, or as Deco did, because we saw how much it hurt the lap times of Deco. BX Royal is not going to take that, because 6 seconds lost in a lap is kind of too much to justify not overtaking. And it's so pretty in the night. Look at these shots as BX Royal is pulling out alongside, brakes a tad later. Deco leaves the space. A slight switchback, does it work out? BX Royal makes the overtake for the lead, but can he stay in it? He can. Deco immediately fighting back, bump drafting to the next corner, and this is the racing we want to see. But now, Legnol, this is not, as soon as someone is fighting for the lead, there is immediately someone else invited to the party. Lego is going to catch up to these two if they keep fighting. But it's the lead. They are going to keep fighting each other. Any other battles happening? We have Jamie fighting Joleri. And I don't know if that was due to a mistake of Joleri of a masterful overtake from Jamie. But what stands is that the move was made. These two are pretty far apart. Leaders haven't switched yet. And that is just... Rin, the Dutchman in the McLaren, is almost lapped. Love what you want to see. This is what you want to see too. So the two leaders pretty close together to each other. And Lego has to push on if they want to close up, but they're not catching up to BX Royal. BX Royal may have hit the wall there, but it doesn't matter because the gap is now over a second to Deco. If he keeps going like this, Deco is out of the slipstream and most likely out of the fight for first. With a lot of pit stops having been made in this race, will Deco dive into the pit lane? I think so, and he does. The tires are done, he needs to pit and ensure that his lap times aren't hurt any further. He is being followed into the pit by his rival. These two have been fighting for so much of the race, and to see them now in the pit lane together with quite a gap, I'm very certain they won't fight each other anymore. Will Jessa overtake them, or will Jessa also go into the pit? Looks like he goes into the pit lane as well. Jamie does not go into the pit. What does Joleri do? Joleri goes into the pit. Flying Foam is... Oh, Flying Foam also continued on. How will he do against Deco? Deco is in pit lane. He doesn't fuel up fully. He is going out of pit lane. Where is Flying Throne? Flying Throne is going out now. Leco is on the softs, by the way. This is going to be it. Into the turn-up section. It's Deco who gets the advantage. Lego has a penalty. Flying Throne is going forward further into the turn-up section. And he actually makes the pass. I actually want to see what tires these two are going on. Jessa is going on to mediums again. Joleri is going on to mediums. Flying Throne is now ahead of Deco, but Deco is in the slipstream and is gaining. And Jamie is going to lose time because Jamie pitted earlier than these two, which may hurt their times. Obviously, Flying Throne pitted the lap before Deco, so there isn't much in tire delta. Lego does have a bit of an tire advantage, but they will have to pit earlier again. So we'll see how this works out for them. They are still being chased by Ross Storm, by the way, who, despite the pit stop, is back onto them and will very much be willing to reclaim his first position, held by BX Royal by 45 seconds. But BX Royal will have to pit as well. There is no way BX Royal isn't pitting soon, as we're almost on 2/3 of this race. And again, we gotta say that the drivers are doing an impressive job on a good, clean race. No yellow flags yet, no big incidents as far as I'm aware. Just good, hard racing. Speaking of good, hard racing, Deco is backing off a bit from Flying Throne and is being challenged. Lego is still being challenged by Rostom, as well as challenging Deco himself. But there is the time penalty. Will Rostom make use of this and pull the overtake? There's Legal, there is the penalty line, there's the slowdown. There's Rostom, can he make it? He pulls out. It's so hard to see in the dark, but I think Rostom has made the move. He's only got 4 cars to overtake. Where is BX Royal? BX Royal skipped the pit lane. And is that actually the sun coming up again? No. Well, actually, sun for 10 laps, night for about 10 laps. That may actually be the sun coming up again. And we will be able to see the cars more better then. But Deco is still very much on the rear wing here of Flying Throne. But this will all help Rostorm, even though he's still fighting with Leiko. Leiko is on soft tires. Leiko's tires do not last at all, as we've seen with Ross when he had to pit in lap 4. So this will be really interesting to see. But especially with Flying Throne and Deco fighting it out for podium, which won't be podium for very too long. But Rostorm is under heavy pressure here from Leiko. Further down we have no more real battles, 3.40. Yeah, I do think we are going to see green left this race as BX Royal gets a penalty. Jamie is still there, but these guys are fighting too hard. And that will allow Rostorm to pull through. As they are it looked like a bit of a dangerous move from Deco, a desperate one at that, which isn't necessary because Rostorm is busy fighting Leiko. But Leiko should not be fighting Ross. Leiko needs to conserve their tires because they aren't winning from Ross. And the more they fight, the more their tires will be messed up. But they're pulling alongside anyway. They will hope to push away from the man who's led this race for so many laps. And the fresh softs have helped Leiko, and they will now try to chase after the next battle, which is still going on. But they are catching with Jamie, which is also an important thing. Jamie is losing time to BXRO. BXRO is now on the penalty line, has slowed down, and will be having to... Well, he has been pit 6 laps ago. I don't know what tires he is on. He isn't on softs, otherwise he would have pit again at this point. But these 4 drivers are the ones we want to look at. From Deco, Leiko and Rostorm. Even though Leiko isn't quite gaining as much with those soft tires, they are just 2 laps old and they are just not doing the job Leiko needs them to do. So Leiko will, even though Leiko is faster in this sector, it won't prove too much. Because if you can catch up to the cars ahead on those softs, you're just going to lose the pit lane battle. And the pit lane battle continues with BXRO coming into the pit lane. And with the gap being just 45 seconds, really get out ahead of the others. The pit lane is quite long and you're standing still for quite some time, especially with refueling. Deco is losing a small bit of time, but he's gaining it back. Leiko has gained time again and is pulling away from Rostorm a bit. Gin Tonics. Oh no, wait, that is Rostorm back there. Never mind. I was excited that Gin Tonics had joined. But what has happened is that Deco is really on the back end there. Jamie is also in the pit lane, by the way. Both of these guys were on hards. He's now out of the pit lane. Where will he join? He's on P3 now. P4 will he get out ahead of Rostorm? There's Rostorm. He joins behind Rostorm. But he has fresh tires. I don't know what tires he went with. Can I actually see that? No, I cannot, and that's sad. That's really sad, but Rostorm, this is now the battle for the lead. Rostorm has dropped off too much. He is fighting BX Royal. Now Legnol has caught up. Deco is still fighting really hard, and we're now on the Merce Lane straight. This is where the overtaking happens, as we've seen so often this time. Nearly bump drafting each other. Deco pulls out, going for the first chicane. Flying from, brakes later, makes the corner and stays in first. But we have a second part of the straight. We're not done yet. The fight keeps going on, and as the sun is coming up, we can see it there. The track is being more visible, and it will make the racing easier for these guys. With just 10 laps remaining. But it's Leno who makes the move. Will this be an overtake for second? It is. Those soft tires finally have worked for them, and they've overtaken Deco and are now pushing to get past Flying Foam. And I think if people go for hards in the next stops, we will be seeing the final round of pit stops. There have been a lot of pit stops. We can actually see the tires, I just noticed, because I turned on the car info. And those racing softs are falling off. Flying Foam is on the hards. So is Deco. Rostom is on mediums. BX Roll on those hards may make it to the end of the race. But Lekel, even though they've made beautiful progress, is going to give all that back. Drive into the pits. And I would say they have to go for hards and try to finish the race. Either that or two more set of softs, but I doubt that's an option. But look at it, they pitted just 3 laps ago. And the fact that those softs are already this worn doesn't bode well for Lekel. So they have to box this lap, as Rostom is having to fight BX Royal pretty hard, as BX Royal is going for the move. There is contact, slight contact, but it's all respectable, and BX Royal makes the move. But BX Royal needs to make those tires last. Rostom fights back. What is Legnor doing? Is Legnor going into the pits? I would assume so. We're now nearing the pit lane. There it is. And as it's... No! He continues on. I think Lekel wants to fit the mediums. But Flying Foam decides to pit. That's quite weird. They were only 4 laps on those hards and they're already pitting. They may only do fuel. No, the tires won't make it. He has to make a tire change. He has to go hards again and hope they last. But BX Royal is really in trouble here if he can't get past Rostom, because he needs to make those tires last. And the dirty air is not going to be good enough to save the tires. Meanwhile, Deco is under a 10th. Lekel is under heavy pressure. Look at those tires are gone. Lekel has to pit this lap, but Deco has to make the move to not lose too much time, because Deco is losing so much time on those tires. We'll actually check back. What tire did Flying Foam go on? Mediums. He has faith the mediums can go 9 laps. Rostom is under pressure from BX Royal. BX Royal makes the move. Those hards don't wear as much, so he will make it to the end of the race. Well, Rostom has to pit. This may have been a strategy masterclass by BX Royal that puts him in the lead of the race, but we don't know yet. Deco is losing time behind Lekel. Is he going to do the same mistake he made with Rostom, sticking behind too long, waiting for the other car to pit? The only saving grace he has is that BX Royal is fighting another car of his own. But having passed Rostom, who is struggling more and more on those mediums, it may mean that he is going to catch up really quickly to the back of Deco, and Deco needs to make a move here. He can't afford to wait too long. And he waits too long. The gap is back under 2 seconds. Deco has had multiple chances to make this race in his favor. And I think he has sealed his fate as not going to win. Or he needs to make this medium stick. But even then, he would have to go so slow that BX Royal on those hards will make it past him. Again, the only saving grace is that Rostorm is fighting hard with BX Royal. And the pit stops are only going to get shorter because there won't be that much fuel. As Deco finally makes the move. Too late in my opinion, but better late than never. As Rostorm moves up and Leiko is losing all credibility here. Those tires have fallen off too much. And did Deco get a penalty? Deco got a penalty. As Rostorm reclaims the lead. But for how long, as he will have to pit as well. Leiko is holding up BX Royal here. BX Royal doesn't like that, but he has to deal with it. And you can see how much time Leiko is actually losing here. His tires are completely gone. He needs to pit. But BX Royal is on the inside. That's where the pit lane is. So he has to back out. And there go his chances. He has lost 3.5 seconds to the lead, and unsurprisingly, he boxed. Does someone else box? No one else boxes. Rostorm still in the lead, Deco behind him, but with the penalty. And now release, BX Roll is going for it. Jane Tonic goes into the pit, racing medium shot. Jamie on racing mediums. Jessa on all the racing mediums, and then we have Flying Throne also on the racing medium. BX Royal just 1 second behind the lead. He has caught up with these guys, and with those hearts that can go the distance, he is going to ferment himself into P1 and then try to pull away as far away as possible. So when these guys box, they will have zero chance of catching him up. Flying Throw may have won multiple times in this event, and I think that BX Royal will do the same in this one. Leiko just exited the pit lane. He is on mediums, but he's behind Flying Throne. Jessa is losing time here, and he's losing Flying Throne time as well. This may help Leiko to re-overtake Flying Throne. Where did Rostorm come out in all of this? Oh wait, Rostorm stuck out on track, I'm an idiot. But this train is now really close together. Deco under real pressure. But even if he wasn't, he has that 5/10 penalty. And like I said before, those 5/10 is not a time penalty. It's that you need to decelerate. Or at least you're not allowed to overtake in that time span. BX Royal goes for a really nice move. Is he in the lead? Yes, but there is an incident. He goes into the wall. And I doubt that the car is unscathed. Struggling to get back onto the track. I don't see any damage. Is damage off? If so, that's a saving grace for BX Royal. It was an opportunistic move. It was a nice move on Deco, but opportunistic on Rostorm. And Rostorm simply did not know he was going for it. So it's a very sad incident. Green has been lapped in the meantime, so we have one lapped car in this race. But yes, that was very, very unfortunate. You would say that Rostorm is going to pit and Deco maybe is going to pit, but this race was in the hands of BX Royal, and he now has an 11.8 gap to close if he wants this win. And with only 7 laps remaining, I doubt there is enough time. Although he is gaining per lap on Deco, who is on older race hearts. But Ross is definitely going to have to pit, and I may suspect that he wants to go for another set of racing softs. So he's going to stick out another lap and then try to carry those softs for 6 laps. I doubt he'll make it stick. Those mediums only lasted 6 laps, so he may also pit and fit on another set of medium. As Deco goes wide, he is gaining again on Ross, but it won't matter because I think, yeah, Ross dives into the pit lane. Final stop. Deco also dives in. BX Royal is back in this race because he doesn't pit. He now needs to push himself as far as he possibly can to try and beat these 2 cars. He is back in the race lead. And he just has to drive for 7 laps. Not wearing out the tires too much. He is lucky there isn't any damage. As these 2 are now parked in the pit lane. Obviously tire change. And the fuel is going in on both cars. How much fuel is everyone taking? They are being overtaken. Deco goes out on softs again. But he does come out behind that, ahead of that group of cars. Where's Ross? Ross is out on hards. Hasn't Ross used the hards yet? Or does he not have faith in the mediums? Meanwhile, all these guys are fighting, but BX Row has a 22-second lap lead on other cars, and I suspect he is going to stay out and try to fight those 22 seconds to win this race. Jamie, racing mediums, all worn. He's been on them since lap 20. 7-second gap to Deco. Deco obviously on those softs. I doubt he will make them last. If he makes them last, that's a really nice thing. But I doubt he'll do it against Flying Chrome and Leco behind him. So again, he had to pace Deco. He was really good off, but strategy decisions in the final half of the race are really costing him a lot of time and the win, honestly. But we shouldn't cross out Ross either. Everyone needs to look after their tires now. Ross, being on hard, can push as hard as he wants. It's a 40-second gap. I doubt he'll make it to the lead. But he surely can make it up to Deco. As we're back again in the same conditions as we started in. Lovely sunlight through the French forests on this legendary, beautiful circuit. Yeah, we have BX Road just going through Indianapolis with a 22-second gap to Jamie, who probably will pit again, so it's a 30-second gap to Deco, which is quite a gap in racing terms, but it's not a pit lane gap. That's the most important thing. If he were a pit stop ahead, he would have taken it. And he would have put on mediums and won the race. But he needs to look after his tires, not worry about those behind. Deco goes out of the way to not cause any incidents while slowing down. While the other 2 are chasing him really closely. It's now a train of 3 trying to fight themselves up into that podium position, but I really doubt that those softs will last. In a lap they've already worked a bit. They've worked the same amount as the mediums have in 2 laps. But Flying Foam is also on all the mediums. Flying Foam is not fighting in this. It's either Leiko, Jamie or BX Row that wins this. If you ask me, after lap 3, if BX Row, Jamie and Leiko were the ones for contention, I would have said maybe Leiko. Leiko, a 4-minute 2.8.6. That's fast. That's really, really fast. I think, well, it's not faster than the event record, but that is a really, really fast lap, and he's really pushing on those mediums. But he has to, because Flying Throne behind him is pushing hard. Dico ahead of him is pushing away, but again, those softs are already halfway won. I doubt he can make a good run for it. Even though he is the fastest now. We're going faster and faster. Everyone is pushing now. The gap is just 28 seconds to first, but I doubt it will be enough. Or I'm pretty sure it will be enough to claim victory here. BX Royal will be, if he doesn't make a mistake, will most likely be the winner of this 2-hour Spa race. With 5.5 laps to go. He has shown some good pace, but Jamie behind. I think he will have to pit again and go to softs. So it's actually Leco and Flying Throne. Not even Flying Throne. It's Leco or BX Royal fighting for the lead. Because no one else can make the tire last and be in a good gap. Rostorm is fast. He's not fast enough for this. He may get on the podium, but that's all he will get in this event. That he so dominantly led for the first half and then dropped off. Jamie made a good fight through the field, but you can see him fighting those rear tires. He will have to pit this lap, but he has one silver lining. Dico will have to pit as well, especially since with these tires he will now get a penalty every single lap. Lionel is under a bit of pressure from Flying Foam, who has a bit less worn tires and may make it, but this is just a big fight here, and it's really interesting to see what the final order will be. Further back, there is a bit of a fight between Mr. Grumpy and JP. Though Mr. Grumpy does have a penalty, he goes for it. JP had to back off there, has to take a wide line, loses time. But it doesn't matter, Mr. Grumpy is through. And I would like to say go to the stewards, but we don't have stewards. BX Row, meanwhile, skipping the pit lane. Obviously, I would be very surprised if he dove in there. He's going to mark the signal for 5 laps left. We enter the final 5 laps with, let's be honest, a 28-second gap. They aren't closing it. Jamie is going in the pit lane. Dico must be going in the pit lane as well. He does not, but it doesn't matter. Leiko will get the overtake done. Not here, because that's too dangerous, but he will get it done later in the lap. Especially since Dico has another penalty, and he may just give position up here against Jamie as well, because he is going to lose more and more time, as Lionel is now alongside into the first turn. And he's just going to hold up Flying Throne now. This was a crucial overtake for Lionel, overtaking Dico without allowing Flying Throne to follow suit. because this will now lose the Jaguar a bit of time trying to overtake Deco on those old soft tires. But it does mean that he will give slipstream away. So we will see who of these two cars will come up ahead of this. Because Deco is, though he is on this track, he is not in this fight. Because his tires, let's just check. Yeah, those racing softs are really screaming out in pain. Flying front tires probably won't make it either, which will mean that Rostom will take the final podium spot. But it will be interesting to see because, wait, he's on mediums. Did Jamie not do anything on mediums? I have no fucking idea actually. But yeah, a gap of 29 seconds, try to close it. Lionel is now being attacked by Deco. Deco does make the overtake again, but those tires are too short and he goes off track. Flying from goes for a move. There is no contact, but this is really close. But Lego can just let him go because his tires will be shot and he will have to pit soon. And if he pits, that just means P2 is for Lionel. Flying Throne may try to continue on and try to get ahead of Rostom. But Deco is definitely one of the guys who still has to pit. Look how much time he loses. He holds up Flying Throne so much that Lionel can make a move on him, despite being very far back and taking a suboptimal line. But this in turn is really helping Rostorm, because Rostorm is not being held up by Deco. I think Flying Throne might be going for a move. He's getting blocked off. That means Leiko can get a move done. And this is just waiting. Luckily for them, Deco has a penalty, so they will make the pass after he has served that penalty, and he will not be getting back on them. But they have lost a lot of time to Ross in this scenario. There goes... Well, actually, there goes Leiko. There goes Flying Throne. And Deco is just out of this fight now. He's going to lose so much time in the Porsche S's, and I doubt he'll do anything. BX Row skipped the pit lane again, obviously. Deco did try it. Flying Throne had to back off a bit because he had to defend against Deco. But Deco, if he continues another lap, it just shows that he isn't really strategically. Why did he send it on Flying Throne there? It doesn't matter. He is out of this race. Wait. Wait. Not the person I expected to pit. I expected Throne to pit, not... Oh. Oh, wow. So Ross, by going on the hards, has proven himself. These guys did not fuel up enough, that's why they have to pit again. And there will be softs going on those cars. Where's Gin Tonics? Gin Tonics goes across the line now. P4. This is an upset. Now refueling. How much fuel do you need to go now? Deco did exit the pit a bit faster than Leiko, but that doesn't matter. Because if they had to pit for fuel... Oh my god, BX Rail has to pit for fuel. Flying Throne has to pit for fuel. Rostorm is good. Will this actually be that Rostorm claws it back because he pitted late enough that he could make it on fuel. I totally forgot about the fuel levels. BX Royal is not enjoying this at all. But 42 seconds, is that big enough of a gap to get out safely with enough fuel to finish the race? Because they won't stand still for an entire tank. They will still stay still long enough to finish the race and then go out on soft tires. But this is an upset. Having to pit because of fuel so late in the race, with this big of a gap, it must hurt. Hell, BX Royal may just decide to skip the tires entirely, just go for fuel and try to get out ahead of Ross. Flying Throne is going for tires no matter what. But 42 seconds, nearly 43 now. BX Royal is just pushing on these tires because he knows he needs a gap to Rostorm to justify the pit stop he's about to make. I totally forgot about fuel being a tin. That's how long I've been out of GT set. Well, actually in Assetto Corsa it's also a tin, but wow. The race to be determined by fuel of all things. Not tires going off, not pace, not an incident, fuel levels. And the maximum fuel a car can hold. Well, no surprises there. BX Royal goes into the pit. How is it going between these two? Deco is back behind Leikel. Jamie is ahead of them, but he has that penalty. Where's Flying Throne? Flying Throne is coming on to the pit lane now. Is he going in? I doubt he'll continue on. He goes in. Now is the important question. Here's Rostom. Where's BX Royal? BX Royal is now in the pit lane. He is going for new tires. He is refueling. Rostom going through the chicanes now. And keep an eye. 44 liters. He is on pit exit. Softs. Where is Rostom? Rostom is there. He is out ahead of Rostom with enough fuel to finish the race. BX Row may have just clinched the race win, but that's not it. Gin Tonics, with also enough fuel, is passing the pit lane. Flying Throne is still there. And these three might also pass Flying Throne. They have passed him, but he's now on pit exit. Where does he exit? He exits behind them on fresh softs. This is going to be quite a fight. Not for the podium, no, for P4. With 4 cars, Gin Tonics 12 seconds behind Ross. Ross 5 seconds on all the tires behind BX Royal. The top 3 look set with BX Royal, Ross and Gin. Then for 4th you have this train. And Deco already has a penalty and gets forced a bit wide. This is not going to be the race of Deco. Especially not on those mediums against Flying Throne softs. As Jamie gets passed by Leikel. Which looks very clean done. Leikel brakes a bit later. Was the contact? No, there was not. Yeah, that was not the line Deco needed to take. They are now going to encounter lap traffic, because that's a tin. Here is Crin in the McLaren, 1 lap down. and probably getting involved in traffic soon. With these four coming down, with Deco already losing a lot of time. I don't know, Deco is the same as Ross. Ross looked very dominant in the first half of the race. Deco looked pretty stable in the first half of the race, and then came the mistakes. Ross certainly lost a lot of time in the middle part. Deco hasn't recovered yet from making those mistakes. Maybe he isn't pushing anymore because he knows he isn't in this fight anymore. His position is P7, and that's where he will finish. As Flying Throne thinks he can make up more positions and goes up to 5th against Jamie. He may even try to go for 4th. Of course he will go for 4th. He is on the softer tire. But he needs to make it cleanly. And more importantly, he needs to do it within 2 laps. As Deco gets the message, he will be slowing down. So he will fully disconnect from this group. And there's the disconnect. It looks for such a short time that he is slowing down, but the damage can be at this section up to a second. The traffic gets out of the way, and they're all good to go. Jamie is now in 6th. He's been overtaken by Flying Throne. Flying Throne is looking at 4th place. As we have 2 laps to go with Flying Throne, Gin Tonics is going into the pit. He's giving up the podium. And that's really sad. So this is now a fight for the podium between these 3. 2 actually. Flying Throne is... well, you can still count Jamie in it, and you can also still count Deke in it, but Deco isn't probably going in there. In the top 3, let's be honest. Jamie maybe. I don't count on it, but stranger things have happened, you know, so we'll give Jamie a chance. But it's more likely between these 2, and I think my guess is Flying Throne will make the overtake this lap even. He is doing a purple sector 1 with a lot of fucking pace, and he's already on the bumper. He doesn't even wait for the straight, he just goes for it. And I don't even think Leno is fighting for it that hard. He just tucks in and he's going to wait for the next straight. But really sad that Gin Tonics just gave up. It isn't just gave up. I shouldn't say just gave up. Because he didn't just give it up. It's just his strategy was a bit off, and that's what messed him up today. BX Royal nearly messed up his strategy as well, but he's got quite a good gap now. And everyone is going faster and faster and faster and faster. Like, we may actually see the event records being broken in either this lap or the next lap. It won't be the lap after that, because there won't be a lap after that. But just the fact that BX Royal, like... that wasn't a purple sector. But yeah, Jamie and Deco have fully disconnected from these two. So they're most likely out of it. What sector time will Deco, by the way, set? Will it be purple or will it be green? Or, yeah, green, blue, whatever it is. It's purple, almost a second. So that wouldn't put it in, what's it called? That wouldn't put it in the territory of event record, but you know, fastest lap got to count for something, and he is breaking away from Lake, so he does have P3 most likely cemented by this point. As Deco is still fighting with Jamie. These two are just losing time now. As I completely missed it, BX Royal is on the final lap. 11 seconds to Rostom, who has 22 seconds to Flying From. This was a very, very good race, driven by BX. Rostom looked so dominant in the first part and just let it slip away. Flying From now starts his fastest last lap. That's a 4:01. We may actually see a new fastest lap of the event posted. Deco has passed Jamie, but this fight is not over yet, because Jamie is still alongside. And that wasn't a corner cut? Okay, I believe you. Flying From just has to survive this section, the straight, and he has P3. Linko, oh, this is going to be close. He pulls alongside, and they are really side by side. There is not a lot of room to work it. Look out, guys, you're fighting for the podium. Don't make it that you fight for nothing. And Nico makes the move, but it puts him at a bit of a disadvantage, as Flying From now gets the slipstream. Fastest lap will not be posted if there is a fastest lap this time. It will not be posted by Flying From. It will be posted by BX Royal maybe, but those softs are wearing out. As Lego is being put under pressure again by Flying From. Jamie, in the meantime, has overtaken Deco, who got another penalty, and that means Deco is relegated to P6 and will probably finish there. Especially if you make a corner like that. There may be another 5/10 penalty added, but it really messes up with your exit, and Jamie will make use of that. It is another 5/10, so Deco is definitely out of this one. Leko in the meantime still chasing for that third place. We need to keep an eye on this man for when he finishes the race. Car number 57. My racing number, by the way. Nah, my racing number is 957, but only because 57 was already taken. Doesn't matter. We need to keep an eye on when he crosses the line. Wait, where's Jamie? Oh, Jamie is right there. I thought Jamie had crashed, which would be a sensational end. But it will be a shame for a race without a single yellow flag to get a yellow flag. As Jamie is just going to take it easy because our good friend Deco has already had so many penalties. And this 1 second penalty will hurt more than the others because it lets Jamie pass freely and puts him out of contention for P5. But you know who isn't in contention for P5 because he won? BX Royal wins the 4th annual GP Greenwood charity race for bladder cancer. Ross Storm gets second in the race after a dominant first half that slipped away in the second half. A really nice job for him with Sunny Hayes F1 movie Spades, 7 of Spades. Now this for the 3rd place. It's still going neck and neck, but I think Flying Throne has got the pace to finish this race in P3. It's getting really close, neck on neck. The gap is just over a 10th, but it is Flying Throne, then Lakel, then Jamie, then Deco, who had another 5-10 penalty. Really close between them. Then we have Gin Tonics, who pitted just last lap. And we won't see a fastest lap from him. If he pitted 1 lap earlier, he may have been pushing for fastest lap. He didn't, and it's led to him now being in P7. 27 seconds back, a whole long way back, is Jaleri, so we have time to look at BX Royal. Really, really good job. Where's Jazza? Jazza fell off, man. Jazza is in P9. He chose racing softs again. His race, it just completely fell apart. There's Joleri over the line. Here's Jazza now over the line. He really has nothing to write home about. He was in such a good position and he gave it all up. 36 seconds back is JP, so we can look back to the other person. In second, it's Ross Storm. Yeah, it is a good place, but if you consider he was fighting for podium at one point, it's just a bit unlucky. But we have Ross Storm as JP crosses the finish line. He had the race win in his hands and let it slip away. We have a bit of time, so we can look at Flying Throne and as well as Lakel, because both of these guys fought really hard. Deco fought really hard, made mistakes in the second half that messed him up. But these 4 guys fought so hard for the podium. And for Flying Throne to get it, he may not have gotten another race win here, but he's got another podium. And that's quite a good thing. Bryn finished. Blue Mosquito is the final one to finish the race. Really unstable. Crosses the line. P13. And that ends the 4th annual. Yeah, it was a great race. It is for a very, very good cause. We can see BX Royal gained 13 positions, which is an impressive amount from the guy. But yeah, this was the 4th annual race for bladder cancer, hosted by GP. It was a really good race. We've seen a very clean race, which I may as well say 30 laps, not a single yellow flag. That's a really, really good improvement, really good showing from everyone. The fact that it didn't rain, it looked rainy at the first part, and it didn't rain, but it kept everyone on the toes. And I just want to say, even those who didn't win, those didn't get on the podium, everyone drove an amazing race. I've been Mike. This has been the charity race. And I wish all of you a very, very good night.